That expensive bottle of brandy sitting on the top shelf at your local liquor store? It was never supposed to exist. In fact, it started as a shipping hack that went spectacularly right. Today, brandy represents sophistication and luxury. We sip it from snifters, swirl it to release complex aromas, and pay premium prices for aged varieties. Cognac and Armagnac command respect in the spirits world. But here's the twist that nobody tells you. Brandy was originally just boiled wine, created not for pleasure but for profit margins and cargo space. Let's travel back to the 16th century. Dutch merchants dominated European trade routes, and they had a serious problem. Wine was incredibly popular across Europe, but it presented massive logistical challenges. Think about it. Wine is mostly water. Shipping barrels of wine meant paying to transport liquid that was roughly 80% water across vast distances. The costs were astronomical. The space requirements were impractical. And worst of all, wine spoiled easily during long voyages. These Dutch traders weren't chemists or master distillers. They were businessmen looking for a solution to an expensive problem. Someone had a brilliant idea. What if we remove the water from wine before shipping it? Distillation technology already existed for other purposes. Why not apply it to wine? The Dutch called this concentrated wine brandewine, which literally translates to burnt wine. The name referred to the heating process used during distillation. The concept was beautifully simple. Distill the wine to remove most of the water, ship the concentrated liquid, then add water back at the destination. You'd save money on shipping costs and barrel space. The wine would be more stable during transport, and theoretically, you'd end up with the same product your customers wanted. Except that's not what happened at all. The Dutch merchants created something entirely different, though it took them a while to realize it. Initially, they followed their plan exactly. They distilled wine, shipped it, and prepared to reconstitute it. But somewhere along the way, someone tasted the concentrated spirit before adding water back. And they discovered something unexpected. It tasted good. Really good. Different from wine, but distinctively appealing. The transformation wasn't instantaneous. For years, brandewine remained primarily a shipping solution. Merchants still added water to most of it at destination ports. But gradually, people started requesting the concentrated version. They enjoyed the stronger alcohol content. They appreciated the different flavor profile. They noticed that the spirit seemed to improve during the long sea voyages, developing richer and more complex characteristics. This is where the story gets really interesting. Those long sea voyages in wooden barrels weren't just preserving the distilled wine. They were transforming it. The constant motion of ships, the temperature variations, and the interaction with oak barrels created chemical reactions that nobody anticipated. The harsh, raw spirit that went into barrels emerged months later as something smoother and more refined. French wine producers in regions like Cognac and Armagnac paid attention. They recognized opportunity. If distilled wine could become this popular, why not perfect the process? They began experimenting deliberately with what the Dutch had stumbled upon accidentally. They tested different grape varieties. They refined distillation techniques. They aged the spirits intentionally in oak barrels instead of just storing them for transport. The French transformed a shipping hack into an art form. They discovered that specific types of oak imparted particular flavors. They learned that longer aging periods created smoother spirits. They developed double distillation methods that produced cleaner, more refined results. What started as brandewine evolved into brandy, and then into distinct regional specialties with protected designations. Consider how radically different this origin story is from what most people assume. We imagine master distillers carefully crafting spirits for discerning palates. We picture ancient traditions passed down through generations. But brandy began with merchants trying to save money on shipping costs. The sophistication came later, built on an accidental discovery. The irony deepens when you consider the modern brandy industry. Today, producers never add water back to reconstitute wine. That original purpose vanished completely. Instead, they age brandy for years, or even decades in carefully selected barrels. They control every variable in the production process. They market brandy as a luxury product, the exact opposite of its utilitarian origins. Cognac provides the perfect example of this transformation. This region in southwestern France became synonymous with premium brandy. Cognac producers established strict regulations. Only brandy made in their region, using specific grapes and methods, can carry the cognac name. They created quality tiers like VS, VSOP, and XO based on aging periods. They turned a shipping solution into a protected cultural heritage. The Spanish developed their own brandy traditions, particularly in Jerez. They used the Solera aging system, originally designed for sherry production. This method blends brandies of different ages, creating consistency and complexity. Again, innovation built upon that accidental foundation laid by Dutch merchants. Even the serving rituals surrounding brandy evolved from misunderstanding. Those large snifters we associate with brandy, they became popular because people believed warming brandy in your hand released flavors. Modern experts actually recommend smaller glasses and no hand warming. But the ritual persists, adding to brandy's sophisticated image. The transformation from Brandywine to brandy mirrors countless other innovations throughout history. Champagne resulted from winemakers trying to prevent unwanted fermentation. Penicillin came from contaminated petri dishes. Microwave ovens emerged from radar technology. The best innovations often arise from accidents, mistakes, or unintended consequences. Brandy's journey reveals something profound about human creativity. We don't just solve problems, we discover new possibilities in our solutions. Those Dutch merchants wanted cheaper wine shipping. They got an entirely new category of spirits. French producers saw potential in a shipping hack. They created luxury products that defined sophistication centuries later. Think about what this means for innovation today. How many of our current solutions might evolve into something completely different? That app designed for one purpose might enable uses nobody imagined. That technology solving today's problem might create tomorrow's industry. Brandy teaches us to stay open to unexpected outcomes. The next time you see brandy on a menu or shelf, remember its humble origins. That sophisticated spirit started as concentrated wine in a merchant's cargo hold. It became popular by accident. It evolved through experimentation and innovation, and it transformed from a cost-saving measure into a symbol of luxury and refinement. Brandy proves that the best destinations often differ from our intended routes. Sometimes the detour becomes the journey. Sometimes the accident becomes the innovation. And sometimes what we create for purely practical reasons becomes something extraordinary. All because someone decided to taste the shipping hack before adding water back and thought, this is actually pretty good on its own.